Hello and welcome back to We Bought a Mic for Good Mic Hunting, a series on Mr. Robin Williams, esteemed actor, comedian, and animation superstar.
Yeah.
My name is Ernest.
Oh, let's see. My voice is a little bit hoarse, so I'm still going to try and do this. One pod ahead of the podcast, two mics ahead of the one mic. I lost it. I forgot it.
A little hot there.
Yeah.
It's because your voice is so hoarse,
it's because
right?
the hoarse voice.
That's
lost
the problem.
it for
It's
me.
okay. I get it.
Got a pod to live, got a pod to eat.
And what's your name?
And my name is Hunter.
Oh, okay.
That's what it is. I was able to get that one out.
And I'm Drew. And I'm excited to talk about Aladdin this week.
Possibly the biggest movie of Mr. Robin's entire career.
You could say
Financially, is it? This is...
it's either this or Awakenings.
Financially, it is Night at the Museum.
That makes sense. I mean, this is definitely got to be up there. This is the first animated movie to ever cross the $200 million threshold.
Yeah, and internationally, it fucking slayed out. It went so hard. It got like what? I wrote it down. I think it's about 500 mil worldwide.
Yeah,
over 504 million worldwide. For a 2D movie whose budget was $28 million. Even with all these celebrities and honestly, really brilliant animation, like really good animation, and like coming up with songs, etc. $28 million. That ain't shit. That's nothing. The budget for the new Aladdin was $180 million.
Oof.
Yeah, and it did do really well still, but
Yeah, it still made an easy $1 billion. That stupid Guy Ritchie film.
None of us have seen that movie, right?
I've seen it.
Oh, you
I
saw
saw
it?
it in theaters.
Oh, okay.
It's really bad.
Did you talk about it on the show?
I think I
think
did.
you might have. Yeah.
I think I did. Well, because the thing is, like, it's a movie. It does the thing that all live action movies do, where it's just like you watch it and you're like, why? Just like the whole time I was watching, I was like, why does this exist? Especially even something like Aladdin, more than The Lion King. Aladdin just like has to be animated. Aladdin is one of these movies that's like, it shows the power of animation, that Robin Williams can fucking be 27 different objects in like a 30-second monologue that he's giving. Like, that's insane.
Exactly.
It baffles the mind. Why would you try to make that live action?
Yeah. So this is the thing. So this is why this is the most important movie. Because this role was made specifically for him.
And he was made specifically for this role.
Exactly. And not only that, but it's also a situation in which they had to create whole cloth this character from scratch for one person.
Yeah.
At what other point in any movie do you have, because in a performance like a traditional performance where you see the actual actor, there's a certain level of, established relationship you have to the person already.
When they're like, they have like schematics for what the animation will look like. They had to craft so much animation around Robin just going off.
Right.
Yeah.
So much of it. Like
reading into some of the like behind the scenes stuff, the animation team like kind of hated Robin Williams because they like did broad animation for this movie, and then Robin just went into the studio and was just fucking just shooting from the hip with all of these references and everything else, and then they just had to go back in and reanimate everything to try to bring what he's doing to life.
Sorry. I've just realized one great benefit of being on video now is people get to experience what everyone who's potted in stew knows, but maybe not the listener, which is that I spill every single drink.
Oh no, did it happen?
All over my mouse pad just now.
Oh wow. Well, at least
how much
didn't
was
spill
it
on your laptop.
Oh, the laptop, it was a lot of money.
Oh, a lot of liquid on the laptop.
No, I'm joking. It's fine. It's fine. Dread it up with the heat.
Sure. The old shirt.
Yeah, well, look at us. We just have we're both wearing shirts from
And After That on,
Yeah.
on Instagram. Little boutique rip-off t-shirt guy. I love him.
So now
out
you're
after
just
that.
repping people on the pod now. You're
I
just
will
letting
rep.
it.
This is
You know
just
what, this
one
is-
guy
yeah,
named
it's-
Edgar who lives in like Brooklyn.
Yeah, so you know what? Check out And After That. That is a free ad.
Zillennial Canon has Super Yaki.
Okay.
We have Edgar.
Yeah. I did actually want to talk about kind of how this movie like changed everything for Disney, because this was, of course, like the
for
first
animation in general.
Well, yes, it did that. But like Disney for like years and years and years, like decades, never actually made a profit on any of their movies, or they barely made a profit. But then it was all about playing the long con. It was all about, then you have the merchandise deals, and then you make the rides, and you set up the theme park rides. And like, it was all this big, long winded way of eventually making money. And then with Aladdin, they kind of broke the formula a little bit. And now, even to this day, whenever Disney or DreamWorks or any kind of animation studio is trying to make a film, they think to themselves, okay, for the main supporting character, can we get comedian X to play this role?
Chris
and
Pratt.
Yes, like it's all trying to capture what Aladdin did so well,
Yeah.
to the point that it really kind of sucks when you're like shoehorning in like pop culture references into any other animation. It's a miracle that this movie works despite it being kind of the originator of that
Exactly.
style.
So I
Yeah.
had sort of been honestly putting off watching this movie. You might not believe that I would do something like that. Partially though, because Ferngully kind of left a sour taste in my mouth with 2D animated movies. I had never seen Ferngully before, and there were a lot of problems. Like, I really admire the movie for what it was trying to do and what it effectively did for a lot of people, but I don't think it was good entertainment.
Well, it's a kids movie. There's a certain level of kind of curve that you have to go into when you're watching a movie made for
Ferngully
children.
felt like it was for like little kids.
It is.
And this movie is for every age of kid.
Right. Well, and not only that, but like this Disney Renaissance era of movies, like they've aged so well. There's like, when you look at the whole Disney animation canon, which I mentioned briefly when I talk about Encanto, which is the 60th Disney animation movie. When you look at all 60, there's a lot of clunkers in there.
Yeah. Totally.
So they don't all age. They all haven't aged well, and they all don't completely hold up. But I think Aladdin is in the conversation for, if not like number one, definitely top 5
So
of the entire thing.
I was blown away. Like, I had seen this movie. It was never in my rotation as a kid. Not many like of these 2D Disney movies were, except for like the old ones like Jungle Book. This movie is so good.
Yeah.
Like, it's so good. It's
perfect.
We can mention up front the cultural
Well, it has a disclaimer now on Disney
I know
Plus.
Yeah.
it does. Whether or not that's like the move, I don't know. You'd have to ask someone, someone who's actually affected by.
Yeah, well, we should say this is 3 people who are not of Persian descent. So,
But so
not
we're
really
dealing
best
with
to talk about that.
We're dealing with some ethnic stereotypes here, and I mean, bit larger than that, we're dealing with just an entire cast of ethnic characters who are 100% white people voicing them. Literally, I was looking through.
That was one of the
Wait.
good things of the.
Wait,
the,
Scott Weinger is white?
I know.
He's a white
I hate
dude?
to break. I was.
Is Linda Larkin white too?
I was looking through. What is this?
Oh, it's Aladdin. Sorry, I was
Can
trying
you
to
that?
look up the actual, what's it called, the disclaimer. Okay, so when you put it on Disney Plus, oh wait, why isn't it coming up? I guess it only comes up if you like haven't recently watched it. But it basically says like this depicts dated cultural references or something like that. It doesn't say like racism or I wish I could. Oh, there we go. This program includes negative depictions and/or mistreatment of people or cultures. These stereotypes were wrong then and are wrong now. Rather than remove this content, we want to acknowledge its harmful impact, learn from it, and spark, and it goes away.
and spark conversations to create a more inclusive
Oh, there
future
you go.
together. Disney is committed to creating stories with inspirational and aspirational themes that reflect the rich diversity of the human experience around the globe. Bravo to you, Bob Iger. And that, by that token, put fucking Song of the South on Disney Plus, you cowards.
Cowards.
Okay? All right? If this is what we're doing.
Zippity day.
Yeah.
So
My oh my, what a wonderful
of this main cast, the most ethnic looking person is probably Gilbert Gottfried.
I was like,
Zazu.
Who looks like maybe he has like one grandparent who wasn't entirely white.
real quick, I did want to say, do you guys like Gilbert Gottfried in this movie, or is he like 25% too much?
I don't think he's too much.
Zazu's like
Gaia
barely in the movie.
Watched this movie with me, and she said, "I want to hurt Gilbert Gottfried."
No.
Don't
protect
do not.
Gilbert.
I think
do
he
not.
might have the worst voice of any human being ever made. And I'll let the listeners vote on that because you are also currently listening to me talking on a podcast. But
Mhm.
yeah, no, I Gilbert does kind of he does feel redundant a little bit to Robin Williams also doing his shtick. There's sometimes when Zazu's trying. I think Zazu has like, I can't remember what it was, but there's like one like Zazu gets like a pop culture joke in there. I was like, all right, we have Robin Williams doing all of this.
Are you trying to say Iago?
Oh wait, Zazu is fucking Lion King.
Yes.
God damn it.
Iago. There we go.
So ignorant.
Very
I love
very
this movie.
similar bird-based
So
characters.
fucking ignorant of bird culture. Yeah, Gottfried is Iago. I like him as Iago. He's not in a ton of the movie, and
He's in way too much of the sequels. Let me tell you that. We'll talk about the sequels
I mean,
later,
I believe
but
that
dear
because
God.
he agreed to still be in them. But I think he's a good one too with Jafar, because Jafar is
Conniving and snivelly.
just
bad.
You know, he's pure evil, and I like the character Iago. Like, he almost feels like at the end of the movie I could see him making like a hero turn and like joining, you know, the good side.
What's a good balance? Like again, that's something that's aged really well. Is like the movie it knows when to get sinister and like dark, and also when to get super funny and wacky. And it's a really, really good balance. Like that's what ages well in this movie, because I feel like a lot of other kids movies, not necessarily contemporary, but like just in general, they either go too much on one side or the other. They go too dour and not enough like kind of levity, and then you're kind of left kind of scratching your head, or it's like too wacky and it's just off-putting. You got to have a little bit of both, especially with a story like this that has like such kind of elevated peril and stakes.
Another good choice, I think, which is something they would continue to do, is casting someone who has more acting experience than they do singing experience, even though it is a musical role. And Scott Winger, aka Steve from Full House,
Ooh.
DJ's boyfriend, who his
None
whole
of that.
deal is that he eats food a lot.
Yeah. He's just a hungry
He
guy.
wears a Letterman jacket and he's just always eating food. Love him on Full House. They would go on in Lion King, of course, to cast Jonathan Taylor Thomas from Home Improvement as Simba. Again, not known for being a singer, but he can handle it enough. Because if you really listen to Scott Weinger in this, he's not a great singer. He's a lot weaker than Jasmine, like in A Whole New World. But you don't need him to be a great singer. You want him to sound like a real person. And that's what you get out of it.
Yes. No, 100% you're right on that. It is funny because we keep kind of talking about like the peril and the action. And it's interesting to think about that in the context of where Disney was at this point in time, because this is very much like a for the boys kind of Disney movie, because there is like, think about it though, like
No girls
there
allowed.
was no, but like Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, like Disney was kind of on a string of these princess movies, which I think Little Mermaid and the Beauty and the Beast are perfect films, 10 out of 10 perfect films, especially Beauty and the Beast is a masterpiece.
That movie looks like stupid gorgeous.
It's incredible. It was
insane.
nominated for Best Picture for a fucking reason, man. But this was kind of a movie that was like something like, we need to get boys to be into to want to buy our Disney products too. So it's interesting that this wasn't in the rotation for you, because let me tell you, this was 100% in my bag as a kid.
Mhm.
This is one of those movies, along with like Toy Story and Lion King, and Hercules, where like I wore the VHS fucking out.
That was me, but with like Tarkovsky movie and,
Oh,
and like
come
Bergman
on.
and like Max Keeble's.
You
big
were
movie.
like
that type of
come
shit.
and see guy.
Yeah.
So hold on. So let's talk a little bit. We'll get into like the details of the movie, but I want to talk about this since you brought it up. So I am obsessed with the Disney Renaissance. Like that is one of my favorite things in like modern
the
movie.
90s Renaissance.
Yeah.
89 to 99.
It is incredible. So Disney had like the golden age where they put out like Alice in Wonderland and Cinderella and Peter Pan.
They had like essentially no competition.
Lady
in
and the
animation back
Tramp.
then. Like they were just fucking steamrolling everyone.
Sleeping Beauty, 101 Dalmatians, Sword in the Stone, Jungle Book, like just absolutely slaying. And then it kind of comes to a little bit of a tumble with the Rescuers, Fox and the Hound, and Black Cauldron.
Hey, I love the Rescuers. I love the Rescuers Down Under.
Yes, I love both of those. But yeah, you are right. Like financially, yes. And culturally,
So
not so much.
Black
at the time.
Cauldron comes out in 1985.
Which is an incredible movie.
We stand.
We
Yeah.
stand Black Cauldron. Genuinely a scary kids movie.
Right. Well, that's what I'm
It's-
saying.
it's not-
It doesn't
it's pretty
have the
upsetting.
balance. It doesn't have the balance. And at that point, everybody was like, Disney's done. They're done. It's over. The Cinderella magic has completely evaporated.
Do we think
they're
that
done.
was there a New Yorker article that says, has the clock struck midnight for Walt Disney?
Oh my God.
Because if so,
come
can
on.
I go back in time and write that article?
Yes.
please?
Yes.
Absolutely.
So in comes John Musker and Ron Clements.
Yeah, man.
With a
These
little
guys-
movie called
best.
The Great Mouse Detective. And-
quietly probably two of the most significant filmmakers of
Yeah.
the last like 50 years.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
their impact on like film as a whole is pretty fucking insane.
And I rewatched Great Mouse Detective recently because Blank Check just did a Musker and Clements series.
What?
and-
I don't know what you're saying. No.
And that movie,
You're going to have to bleep
We can't
that.
even show beer brands on here.
yeah, but Bleep just did a bleep. And Great Mouse Detective, it's a good movie, but I can tell that like it wasn't quite what Disney needed at the time. It wasn't like exactly the type of movie that was going to send them back to their glory. But then they do a little movie called The Little Mermaid. And that's when everything changes.
Yeah.
And that's when everything explodes.
That's 89.
Yeah. They didn't do Beauty and the Beast, but then obviously, like you said, that gets them their best picture nom.
Right.
At that point, it's like, boom.
Beauty and the
Disney is
Beast
back.
So Beauty and the Beast
Full
is the
force.
first animated movie to ever make $100 million. And then a year later, they more than doubled that with Aladdin.
Yeah.
They
So-
just like shot out of the cannon and here we go. Now we're off.
Here's a galaxy thought. Do you guys think that there is a pretty viable argument that Ron Clements and John Musker are partially responsible for why the city of Orlando is so big right now? Because
Yeah.
it's because Disney that there is a big city here.
Yeah.
Disney peaked in the 90s. Orlando peaked in the 90s.
Yeah.
Orlando became a hot city in
Do
the
you?
90s.
Yeah, no. Is Orlando Apex Mountain for Orlando is the 90s because also
yes.
the Orlando Magic we can bring in that.
Universal was doing shit here, like live shows.
Yeah.
Ron Clements and John Musker are responsible for the housing crisis in Orlando.
And I will blame them on my inability to actually afford to buy a home in
Absolutely.
the greater Orlando
Bet
area.
your fucking ass I will. They rule hard. So yeah, they go Little Mermaid, which pops off. It's a very good movie, by the way. Even though it's still for girls and has
It's a
cooties.
girl movie.
Yeah,
It's a perfect movie.
I like
It's-
the freaking lobster crab.
The music in Little Mermaid fucking slaps. It's so fucking good. I think Kiss the Girl is like might be in the top 3 Disney songs ever made. I think that song is like it just sings.
Go off.
Just beautiful.
3 years later, Aladdin.
Yeah. So at that point, the money that starts rolling in because of these two humble animators is unprecedented. And that, I mean, at this point, like we're cooking, baby. You've got hold on, I lost my place. You've got Lion King after that,
Comes in
which is
95.
for my money the best of
Yeah.
the entire.
Which was like
run.
that was like a B team Disney movie.
Yeah.
They're not involved in that Lion King, are they?
No, they aren't involved in Lion King or Pocahontas, which was both
or
95.
Hunchback or Goofy. movie.
Notably, I just because this is like a side tangent off of Aladdin, but you mentioned it. With Lion King, the B team was working on that, which is why like some of the animation like is kind of like funky. It doesn't wholly work, is because they had their best animators working on Pocahontas, which is a drastically worse movie and a movie that has aged like fucking milk. It's not a great movie.
And then in 97 they go Hercules, which
Fucking love Hercules.
stylistically and content wise is the movie most similar to Aladdin. Like it has the most similar feel where it's like it's silly, you know, but also has like a big feel.
There's
to it.
something amazing about Hercules, which is that Musker and Clements they bring in the bag with back to back Little Mermaid and Aladdin, and they're like, Mr. Mickey Mouse, can we please make Treasure Planet?
Yeah, they just want to make
Can we
all they've
please?
wanted this entire time is just to be able to make Treasure Planet. That is the dream.
And
Mr. Mickey Mouse.
and Mickey Mouse is like, get the fuck out of here.
Mickey Mouse like pulled a James Cameron, was like, the technology has not advanced to the point.
Oh, I'm not gonna let you make any of the projects you want to make. You need to make me more money. Heil Hitler. And now I need you to make a Hercules.
Which rocks.
Yeah, but there's a tinge of that movie. I love the movie, but there's a tinge of like bitterness just like slightly in that movie where they're just like, we're just doing this for the money. And there's even like a scene in that movie where it's like Hercules is becoming commercialized.
No, that's the best part about Hercules is when he's like revolting against the Disneyification of the Hercules brand. And so Hercules fucking slaps. That movie is so
Musker and
good.
Clements are just like, they're so bitter. They're like, we just want to make our fucking space treasure island in space movie.
Yeah, and then eventually they make it and it's fine.
It ends the entire
It's
fuck.
fine.
It crumbles the entire industry. The whole animation studio goes under, and they have to like just fire everybody.
Early 2000s were really weird for animated movies that were not 3D, because 3D movies, you know, Shrek came around now, and then you have like Treasure Planet. Do you remember Spirit?
Yeah.
It's another early 2000s
Spirit.
one that was just sort of like, I don't know. I remember being in the theater and feeling like I've seen things
Well,
more magnificent.
Shrek ended everything.
Yeah.
Because like all the kids were like, "Oh, I want to fart with Shrek."
Well, it's because the problem was Shrek came out and it was a sensation, and Shrek is like satirizing as much as a children's film can be a satire, everything that Disney stands for.
Yeah.
So when Disney still tries to come out there and make their like sincere adventure stories of like a man and a woman falling in love, then it's just like it all feels disingenuous
it's like come the
post
fuck
Shrek.
on. And then they,
Yeah.
you know, they try to come through with like Princess and the Frog, which these guys also worked on in 2009, and it was just past the time of doing a
Yeah,
2D princess movie. Which
a lot of
apparently
people,
people ride for it.
a lot of people love that movie. To be honest, I saw it once right whenever it came out, and it didn't really do anything for me. Have you?
Which one?
Princess and the Frog.
Oh yeah, that's Musker and Clements. I'd probably put that towards the bottom of their. I actually have that one at the bottom. I think it has a lot of good stuff in it, but overall it doesn't like quite work. It's a nice movie. It's not
Yeah.
bad. I just think that, you know, the perfection of Aladdin and
Yeah.
like just the perfect synthesis of what they're trying to do there, they can't quite recapture it with Princess and the Frog. They also did Moana though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but then they got their fucking fastball back with Moana, which
Yeah.
Moana is. I like had Moana on, like rewatch that fairly frequently in my house.
Moana's
Yeah.
great.
Moana's awesome. Great fucking music
Yeah.
to our favorite
Yeah.
lip biting man out
So
there.
in between Princess and the Frog
Talking
and
about
Moana,
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
we
of
have 7
course.
years. In between Treasure Planet and Princess and the Frog, another 7 years. What kind of drugs do you think they were getting into with like their unlimited money that they had? I think benzos.
Come on the show, John and Clem.
Yeah, well, you know, that's interesting because
John
I
and
feel like
Ron.
they had like the Coke energy had kind of left them at this point. Like they were kind of beyond all of
Yeah.
that.
You start doing what's close to heroin, but not quite,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
benzos. So congrats to them for that.
Painkillers.
Good job by you.
Okay, so this movie, which by the way, like I think is just far and away the best of the Musker and Clements run. Like I know that there's Little Mermaid stands out there, like I know, but I think that this is like perfection, and I think that part of that reason is the songs.
You would
So
say that because you're a boy.
we gotta give it up for Alan Menken, who did the music,
Mhm.
and every single song in this movie is a banger.
If you rearrange the letters of Alan Menken, you get Lin-Manuel.
Oh no,
Bad
You're
news.
right.
he's back.
Awful news, guys.
He's
No,
still biting his lip.
These songs are very, very good. And also a lot of it for me at least is the fact that the animation is keeping things moving during the songs, because a lot of musicals, especially ones for children, can really slow down during songs.
So for that, I was going to ask you, what's your favorite song in this?
That's tough.
I mean, the most iconic is like A Whole New World, obviously.
I think A Whole New World is my
It's-
least favorite song in this entire movie.
God, fucking Bill Simmons hot take over here.
No, I think that song has been like overdone to death. Like it's just,
Low efficiency song on that one.
it is like, I think for me, it's either One Jump, which
Yeah.
is a perfect musical
Jump
song.
is so
It's literally,
good.
it's moving the plot forward. It's introducing our lead character and making him like charismatic, but also you learn about his story and like what his trials and tribulations are. There's that, or it's Friend Like Me, because Friend Like Me is just animation at its fucking finest.
Genie's
that's
intro?
Genie's intro.
That's my favorite, definitely.
Prince Ali is also just fucking gorgeous. Him coming
compare
into the city.
Friend Like Me to Robin Williams' intro song in Fern Gully.
Oh man.
It's just like the
Man,
most dated
If
thing you could
only-
ever
if
hear
only
in
he
your
like
life.
could rap.
Well, the
in Friend
baddie,
Like Me.
the baddie rap is like maybe 60 seconds long. Like it comes
felt,
and goes.
It felt
quick.
really long.
No, it is quick.
No, I
because I
believe that.
clipped it.
just-
I clipped it for our Twitter, and it's literally. I think it barely goes 60 seconds. This is a full on number,
Yeah.
and Robin pops off.
Yeah.
He's so good. And okay, so you mentioned the sequels, right? Obviously, Robin's not in Return of Jafar, but he is all over Prince of Thieves.
Mhm.
In Prince of Thieves, they dial him up to like 13. It is way too much
Yeah,
of the
it's
wacky references, off the walls, bouncing shit. I like that for the most part in this movie, it is contained to this song. There's a little bit of little bits here and there, like he comes in and does like his little, Jack Nicholson impression or whatever he likes to do, but it doesn't take over the movie. In or King of Thieves, I should say. I was saying Prince of Thieves.
Prince of Thieves, a
And
completely different movie.
In King of Thieves, he is like every single second that he's in this movie, he is just doing references or like wacky voices and characters. And it's like, man, my guy, like
It's
let's-
too much.
let's tone it down
It's
a
the
little
same
bit.
thing with Return of Jafar, but that is, man, Return of Jafar. I loved that movie and King of Thieves as a kid. Return of Jafar is just fucking atrocious. It's like borderline unwatchable.
yeah, I didn't even
And
revisit it.
It's
a
so
travesty.
bad. Notably, Robin Williams is not in it because I guess we can talk about it now. Robin Williams was pretty fucking pissed whenever this movie came out.
He didn't
because
get any of the return on the fucking box office.
So, of course, we mentioned it before. This role of Genie was written for Robin Williams. They had Robin Williams in mind. They were like, Robin Williams, we need you to take this part. He said no at first. He was really hesitant. He was like, I don't want to be in a kid's movie. Like, that's people are just going to view me as a child movie actor now, and that's going to tarnish me as like a film star. Remember, like, he just made Awakenings a couple years ago. He's trying to be taken seriously as an actor.
Mhm.
You don't want to take the animated voice acting route now, especially in the early 90s when this was not a normal thing for prominent actors to do. So he said eventually agreed to do it after cutting a deal, and his caveats to him agreeing to be in this film was like, I'm going to only be in X amount of scenes, and like I'm not going to be in any of the marketing of this movie. And then Disney says,
Fuck
thank
that.
you for not putting that in writing because we are going to slap you holding the name Aladdin on the VHS and on the poster cover and have Robin Williams up at the top of everything.
Yeah.
Sorry,
and
motherfucker.
that is like what I was saying earlier about how it changed the industry, because that you can draw a direct line from that to Shrek, because the posters for Shrek are like huge names: Mike Myers, Cameron Diaz,
Eddie Murphy.
Yeah. Like that. It comes because of this movie, and it changed the whole thing forever. Like what you were saying earlier, where like that's just the thing now.
Yeah.
It's fucking Chris Pratt as Mario.
Yeah.
Scott Weinger's Aladdin.
I mean, even it's not even all negative things. It's Eddie Murphy in Shrek. Eddie Murphy would not be in Shrek if it wasn't for Robin Williams in Aladdin. It's getting big comedian or former comedian or comedic actor and putting him in supporting role X. Like that just became the formula for all animated movies to this day.
But also just the marketing angle is what I'm saying too. Like that. It's not just like we're not just gonna like sneak Eddie Murphy in Shrek. Like it's gonna be a major.
Like, oh my God, is that Eddie Murphy?
Yeah, it's gonna be a major part of how we market this movie.
Imagine hearing Donkey's voice and being like, "Is that Eddie Murphy?"
Be like, is that? God, that's either Eddie Murphy or Daniel Day-Lewis, and I can't quite place it.
So in Return of Jafar, what does Genie sound like? Because the guy who did it is the voice of Homer Simpson.
So he's trying to do a Robin Williams impression.
Oh boy,
that
and
makes
it's
sense.
really bad. It's not a good impression. The sequels in general kind of have a problem. They have a direct to Disney, direct to home video problem, which is like, for the most part, they kind of just ignore the consequences of the original movie because they're like, well, that's not interesting. So like Genie just shows up in Return of Jafar. Is just like, I traveled the world. I saw everything. And now I just want to come back and hang out with my pals. Also, my shackles are back on me because that's more interesting for animators to draw than me just being a
blob.
amorphous blue blob.
Their straight to video team cannot do the things that this team did.
Yeah, well, it's exactly.
Genie.
It's a straight video team. It's
Like it's really genuinely like they draw laughs out of just visual animation stuff, and they also like. Outside of just laughs, it's just like something to look at, man. Like it's fascinating.
Well, I want to talk more about King of Thieves, but I'll save that for later because I have thoughts on that movie. But we gotta get into this one because the story here is so expertly tight. Mm-hmm. This movie is like barely 90 minutes long, and it gets going quick. And there's a lot that happens. I mean, he's like a beggar on the streets, and then he goes in the cave, and then it's all of that with the genie.
It all feels earned. Like all the growth and development, none of it feels cheap. It really doesn't.
I think that the two first musical numbers do so much heavy lifting of that. We're introduced with Robin Williams as a street urchin guy just breaking out, and then that goes into
not Robin Williams, Scott.
No, to Arabian Nights.
Yeah.
The very beginning.
The merchant guy.
Is we are.
Oh, that Robin Williams is
Yeah, that's Robin Williams.
You're right.
But like we're introduced to that, and it's like, this is the location. This is where we are.
It's like an overture.
Yeah, it is the overture, and it's like, we're not in some kind of like, this isn't the same magical place that you've seen in other Disney stories. There's people getting their hands cut off here, and like this is a dark and seedy
again,
version.
if you'll just
of the
read that
Disney
disclaimer
universe.
one more time.
And so
we're free of any.
Yeah. Well, this is
fault here.
Do you think that like George H.W. Bush saw this? It was just like, fuck it, we gotta get into Iraq. We gotta go find Agrabah.
Holy shit.
This is the peak of the Gulf War is 92. Let's get into it.
Oh yeah, HW.
We're also introduced to Abu, who I love.
Abu's great.
Played by Scooby-Doo.
Yep, Frank Welker.
Really interesting levels of animal speech in this, because Iago knows full English, which makes sense, I guess, because he's like, there's like some magic involved around his man's. Then you have Abu, who basically can do a really good impression of English. Like, he can like give you, it's like, if you ask like an Italian person to like speaking, what do people in America sound like? It's like, and then you have like for example, Jasmine's tiger friend, who
Raja.
is simply a very empathetic animal.
Who is also played
He's a
by
sweet-
Frank Welker. Frank Welker is he's literally, I think he might just be like the greatest
Yeah.
voice actor ever. He plays Abu, Raja, and the Cave of Wonders.
And then
He's
Robin
he's
Williams
the fucking king, dude.
ruined
He's the
his
best.
career and all his peers. Just destroyed their entire future.
It's a good
Yeah,
point.
well, I don't want to hear Robin Williams do can you do like panther noise for me?
I would love to hear that. But even that gets overtaken by Flea being Donnie Thornberry. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course.
Now we're just hiring bassists to do these parts. Fuck. Sorry, Frank. You're screwed. So yeah, we established this entire world. Jasmine, he falls in love. Abu will not fucking stop stealing things. He is I would get rid of that fucking guy. If I'm Scott Wenger.
Pal.
Man, I know, but he gets them into so many shenanigans with this shit. He needs to learn how to discipline his pet.
Yeah, just sometimes you just gotta just smack your little
Just
monkey.
put him on a leash. Put him on a leash.
Yeah, well, maybe so. I think because I think that he's actually really good and helpful whenever you're like in the marketplace.
He's great at stealing.
Yeah, he's good at stealing in that kind of range.
Yeah.
But you don't take him into the Cave of Wonders when it's like all you have to do is not fucking touch anything. And he's like, cool, I'm gonna bring my monkey, like can't stop
Who
stealing
literally-
anything.
He's
He just has to
basically
touch
he's
shit.
Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems.
Yeah. I'm gonna fucking come.
That's- would this movie have been better if instead of Arabian Nights, if we would have had like it starts inside the Cave of Wonders and we gaze inside and then we come out of
Aladdin.
Of like Abu's asshole.
Uncut Gem style.
So where do we go from Jasmine and Aladdin interacting?
Which
Well,
really, really good. I will say, just kind of sidebar while we're going on here. This is one of the better depictions of women in one of these Disney movies.
I love Jasmine.
like Jasmine's great.
She's
like
great.
she
Yeah,
actually
she-
has agency.
Well, yeah,
which,
she continually is saying like, no, I'm not going to just be a pawn in y'all's story.
Yes,
I'm a woman.
which is even like in Little Mermaid, which is like, of course, iconic Disney princess, yada yada. I love Little Mermaid. Ariel has no fucking agency for the other half of that movie, and the prince just falls in love with a mute woman who he has no idea anything about her personality. It's not like
Yeah.
the best look in the world.
This is like progressive for like early 90s
Yeah.
female depiction. For now, it's obviously
She
not,
does-
because she does like
she does have
Well,
a
in the
costume
new
change.
one-
and she does need to be saved like over and over
Yeah.
by men.
in the new one, they give her like a song about how she won't be silenced
yeah,
or
it's
something.
oh my god, it's so bad.
I didn't see it. I don't know. It's just like
I don't- it-
here's
it-
a bone.
It was a
for
song
ya.
that just like left my brain immediately as I was watching it.
Jafar is a really great creep toward her. Every time he talks to her, it's like, ew.
He is amazing. I mean,
He calls her
talk
pussy
about
cat. That made me cringe so hard.
talk about characters that could only exist in animation. Jafar, like you can't. That no guy looks like that. That is a guy who can only exist as
he
a drawing.
reminds me of Yzma in Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah,
just
that's
like
another example.
So
Yeah, just so
viscerally
pointy.
disgusting and pointy.
Yeah.
It's very pointy.
The pointiness.
There are
dude,
only so
you've
many
ever seen.
pointy actors you can get. But they rock. So before we get to Robin, because it's a crucial note that Robin comes in 36 minutes into the movie.
Mhm.
And he,
Yeah,
you know,
act two on the dot.
yeah, and they use him correctly. Like he's not overused, but you can't imagine the movie without him. So, but the first 36 minutes go incredibly well without him.
Beer break.
Another benefit for the,
I
for the
see. We
viewers.
did this last episode when you weren't here. I had to explain the whole. Now we can't slowly, sneakily get up anymore because people can see it. And then I told Hunter like I can just clip it out of the show, but he was like, "No, you have to keep it." So now every time there's a beer break, I'm gonna say beer break.
Can we put like GoPros on our foreheads so when we go to pee, you can kind of splice that in?
Yeah.
I won't look down too much.
There's a Zoom guest that did that one time, but I don't know if I want to out him.
It was contributor
You know
to the
who you are.
podcast. We can out him here.
Okay, so this sequence in the cave holds up incredibly well. Like, I was shocked because a lot of this is CGI, but it's not. Well, actually, I don't know if it is. I think the only like overtly CGI is like the head of the cave itself.
Yeah, the head of the tiger is like super 3D.
But that's
all I could really be.
But
like.
the lava, I guess the lava
is
has
3D.
to be 3D, right?
Yeah, the lava's 3D. It is like one of the first films of its kind to have 3D animation. But since it is mostly 2D and it's just some 3D elements, it doesn't age nearly as poorly as a lot of other films that went full 3D way too early.
Yeah.
It's
a great mix.
Even though the budget is a lot less than you would think, I don't mean to put down Ferngully again, but something that really struck me about Ferngully is how the intense difference between these ridiculously detailed backgrounds and how crude the characters are as they're moving through them. There's like a big difference there.
That's not the case in these Disney movies. They take the time.
Exactly.
Well, and they have the money.
That's the thing. Is one reason is because if you have more money, you can afford more layers of backgrounds where like you're getting depth, you're getting fake 3D just by having, let's just say like 3 different levels of being behind the main characters,
right,
where there are some rocks who are moving at one pace as you pan camera, and then behind that, etc. That makes a world of fucking difference. But then also just the characters interact with the backgrounds in this. In Ferngully, it really felt like they were just sort of like walking on top of it and never really like there
static.
Yeah, it just felt like someone drawing on top of a painting. And this it was way easier for me to immerse myself in this.
But that almost doesn't even have to be a factor once Genie comes in, because your eyes are glued to this like epic like achievement of animation. It is insane.
Yeah. Like it's some stuff that you would see in like a 2D animated like Nickelodeon show in the 2000s, but this is 1992. You know what I mean?
It's so much more next level.
Like
than that.
Exactly. Like a way worse version of Genie you can see in like Cosmo and Wanda, for example. You know what I mean? Where they're pretty amorphous, they can turn into anything, and they often do like in conjunction with them telling jokes, they will change form to like
Well, that's the thing. That's the other thing about this movie is that like everybody wanted. We keep coming back to this. Everybody wanted to replicate this. So it's like you have this long tail of like 15, 20 years of animation that is trying so hard to recapture the magic, the genius of Genie in this movie.
The
and
level
they could never do
of
it.
Creativity is off the fucking charts with the way that he moves through the frame. It's unbelievable.
I mean, just kind of the things, I'm just like, I was pulling it up as we were watching this, and he just like became a rabbit and then a big red monster and then a dragon, and now he's like a submarine, and he's changing. He's a tiny little guy.
Then there's like 15 of him all talking to each other.
Not to take whenever he's like taking his head off. He's like, it's just everything. I can't even describe what's happening in some of the shots.
He's a cash register. He's a slot machine.
It's
basically it's the best visual representation of Robin Williams that you'll ever get.
Yeah,
because it's keeping up with his insane pace of delivery.
That's why the whole idea of trying to make this a live action movie was just like inherently just a dead idea. Like Will Smith is trying his darndest to be Genie.
He's trying to do his own thing.
He's trying to do his own thing, but he's still doing Friend Like Me. He's still singing the same lyrics that Robin Williams sang, and it's all just fucking flat.
Who could do this?
No, it's not his
fault.
fault.
It's a thankless
It's a thing
task.
that just it shouldn't exist.
We
why animation is important.
When we get to recasting, though, this will be a really interesting one because this is the most Robin role, even more than fucking Good Morning Vietnam, which is another role that's just Robin being Robin. This is
that's what I was trying to say earlier. Is that like this is even more so than that because they created it from nothing. Like it's an entire character created from scratch.
It's if like Robin Williams was not adherent to the physical form.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
If he didn't have to be in his body.
Yeah.
If he could move,
If he was an essence,
he would be a blue guy
energy.
who can turn into anything.
yeah,
anytime.
it is the exact energy of going back to that stand-up special that we talked about in our very first Robin Williams episode, where he has like 27 different threads of jokes that he's trying to get across at the same time, and he can't keep anything straight. It's that embodied into
a
physical
single
form.
character.
And in
Yeah.
this form, he also doesn't have to be so hairy, which is
There's
great.
He's actually-
a little of hair.
There's some hair, but
Almost
he is
entirely
he is-
hairless.
He is like Abu level hairy in real life. It's crazy. His forearms.
Just the hairiest arms you've ever seen.
So yeah, Robin comes in and it I'm not even gonna say becomes a different movie. I was honestly expecting that. Because that's another Ferngully thing is Robin is carrying like a lot of the humor of that movie. The movie is already really funny before Robin comes in, but then he comes
well
in
balanced.
Yeah, exactly. And he comes in and you're like, oh wow, this movie is good.
Also, again, I gotta shout out Jafar. Like Jafar does a lot because like you're with him a good solid bit in that first third to kind of introduce sort of the stakes of the movie and kind of what we're up against, the adversary, so to speak. And then just to jump ahead to the end, like the last like 15 minutes of this movie are fucking amazing.
It's action escalating on top of action escalating. It's basically a fucking Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah.
For the last third of this movie,
Well,
it's just Stewart's
Jafar-
gonna keep leveling up.
He turns into a fucking genie, and it's like the most terrifying and like awestruck shit you've ever seen.
So it's also an example of something that happens earlier in the movie that I wanted to talk about, which is there are moments of Aladdin genuinely being a very clever guy in this movie. Like it happens like 3 or 4 times.
He gets a free wish.
Yeah.
He gets a fucking right off the bat.
Out
he
of
gets
the
a free
cave,
wish.
yeah.
That's so cool.
He gets the free wish, which is, that's like a classic. It's not like a dumb person's idea of a smart person thing. Like a few of these things are actual smart ideas. The way that he saves Jasmine is pretty clever, you know, where he's like, oh yeah, this bitch is crazy. Like, I'm really sorry, man. This is my sister. She thinks that fucking monkey is like the Sultan. Isn't that fucked up? Like, that's funny.
And then she's smart too, so she like kind of she yes ands the
they
whole
definitely.
thing.
Well, they're both UCB guys.
Yeah. She like starts to get all sexy and she's like, Jafar.
Both of these characters.
Come over here, you
Aladdin and
slimy.
Jasmine were taking classes back in the day with like Chris Gethard and like Amy Poehler.
Yeah.
You know? They get it.
They're like part of that whole game. I heard that they were actually the original choice for Knocked Up. Was
Interesting.
Aladdin and Jasmine.
And so the ultimate example of cleverness, which really like I didn't expect, was having not like I didn't really remember the finer plot points of this. It is so smart to make Jafar a genie. It is so smart.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't just make him a genie. He convinces Jafar to make himself a genie.
And it's
so
his
cool.
own undoing. It's what traps him
That
in
is-
the fucking...
that is
so cool.
a brilliant climax. Like that is a really, really smart piece of writing.
You know,
It's a tight story, man.
to that point, this is also like is a kind of a new shift in the Disney paradigm, because for the most part, Disney's hits that were big hits were based off of classic fairy tales. It was them Disney-fying stories that already existed with like Cinderella or Alice in Wonderland. Or,
well, this
like,
did already exist. This
did,
is
but this is
1001 Nights.
yeah, but this is, I mean, it's 1001 Nights is like the bones, but this is like nothing like the story of 1001 Nights. It's just taking the broad setting, but then making something entirely new in this playground.
I think the story in 1001 Nights is Aladdin finds a lamp in a cave that grants with a genie that grants him 3 wishes. That's like the basic story.
Does he like get a princess?
I don't think there's a Jasmine character. Let me look it up.
Is there a guy who does a Jack Nicholson impression? Or because I was pretty sure that Robin just ripped that straight from like straight from the ancient texts. You know,
that's something that was like, this is something for the fans. This is a piece of fan service they had to put.
The
in
original
there.
Aladdin story, it goes back to like
a long time ago.
1700s. Is there a like guy, I'm gonna assume mid 50s, who tries to pick up a woman who I'm gonna say is, I don't know, 16?
It goes.
Is that a thing in 1001
Is
Nights?
Jafar 50? Oh my God, is Jafar?
He's a nasty fucking man.
It's one of those things where it's like, is he 50 or is he like a really fucked up looking like 27-year-old?
It would be really funny if Disney did a disclaimer, but it was just for Jafar being
It's like,
Well, at one point he's like
a slimy little dude.
at one point he's like 105. That his old man form was like burned into my brain as a kid. That like squiggly dagger that he has, that image was like burned into my brain from a young age.
So I'm seeing
Scary.
I'm seeing the origins date back to oh my god, forever ago.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 1700s.
No, man. Most scholars agreed that the Knights was a composite work and that the earliest tales, and it came from India and Persia at some time probably in the early 8th century.
Oh fuck.
Really fucking old.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Musker and
which
Clements
makes sense.
can't come up with any original ideas, is what you're saying.
This has a ton of
They're hacks.
fucking hacks.
this has a ton of trappings of a good fairy tale / like even like a Shakespeare type story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you just changed location and added more magic to a Shakespeare story.
Well, Shakespeare is a hack. Like we know this.
Yeah, well, hacks because it's multiple people, multiple Shakespeares. Yeah,
Right.
the school of Shakespeare.
So yeah, and that makes plenty of sense because it feels like a classic story when you're watching it. You're like, wow, this is, it just feels good. I don't know, it feels like well worn, but also not old. And like for all the cultural issues with this movie, a good chunk of that is because they put it where it should be, where the story actually came from, because there weren't Disney movies that were set anywhere other than here.
That's the thing is like I feel like Disney had this directive at this time, you know, like Lion King is supposed to be Africa, Pocahontas is like Native American, like Hunchback France, like they had this directive to try to like represent in some way other cultures, and I think it works really well in some cases and not so well in others. Like it's tough because like I love Mulan, but I feel like Mulan also falls into this similar trap that Aladdin does, where it's just like very, very broad generalized strokes, and like you can't really hold them against it too much. Like if you think Aladdin is problematic because it just like generalizes an entire region of the world, like, okay, I get it. But at the same time, like, is the alternative any better that you just don't have any movies with this kind of representation?
It's hard to even judge it in that sense because like in 1992, this was progressive.
Exactly.
To even put
that's
this
what I'm trying to say.
Kind of
really,
and like it's hard. Like we can't view things with the same lens that we do now.
And then in the updated movie, they have like an actual brown cast, so they take it a step further.
Oh, there's still problems with that. Like it's still directed by a white British dude, and like the cast is like people of color, but not really anyone of true Persian descent. And there's still a host of fucking issues.
Still, like
a new Aladdin.
What stuck out more than any story bit to me. Because I just generally like expect Disney movies to generalize whatever culture they happen to take place in. It's the fact that it's just an entirely white cast that like sticks out like a sore thumb. If you go on IMDb and look at it, you're like,
it's tough. Yeah,
Jesus, and that is like just what you did back then. But that that blows for people who could have gotten jobs that needed them a lot more than like Frank Welker.
Do you want to know one thing that has aged? Both like bad and also really funny from this movie. So we've talked about the music. There's notably one song that was cut from this movie. Do you know what that song is?
No clue.
So it's a song called Proud of Your Boy, which is the origin to the far right wing
The Proud
faction,
Boys?
the Proud Boys.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Their origin
What?
stems from a song that was cut from Disney's 1992 film Aladdin, and the Proud Boys think that it was cut because Disney was writing a song about masculinity, and like the woke
Yikes.
Disney corporation wouldn't let them air it. How funny is that? That
Musker and Clements strike again.
yeah, that right wingers are just like, we took our whole identity of Proud Boys from a cut Disney
Well, what do they
song.
fucking think of? Like, I'll make a man out of you. That made the cut. You know what I mean? Jeez, I guess they probably hate Mulan because it's all about how a woman can do everything a man can.
You can find "Proud of Your Boy" if you guys want to pop it on. It's not a very good song. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so it
is a Menken and Ashman song
of the movie.
Yeah, but it never actually made it into the film itself. You can listen to it, and it's like, oh, this is the worst song. There's a reason why they cut it.
Yeah.
Proud Boys are really like all of those sects of right wingism, especially the internet variety, are embarrassing. Proud Boys might be the most embarrassing guys. They're drooling all over themselves.
Dumb boys.
Love that.
So these are some other attempts by Disney movies to represent specific cultures. Emperor's New Groove, Peru. Little Peruvian
I
representation
always forget
here.
that's Disney, honestly, just
I know
because it's in that weird
it feels like a
time
DreamWorks
of,
movie.
Yeah,
that movie rocks so hard.
It's so
Atlantis,
good.
the Lost Empire, Atlanteans. We love Atlantean representation.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
Lilo and Stitch, Hawaii,
Yeah.
and Aliens.
Guys, Lilo and Stitch is incredible. Lilo and
movie-
Stitch has aged beautifully. It's aged so fucking well. It also definitely, it has like the best, I think, in my opinion, the best secondary media use after the movie because of the Lilo and Stitch TV show.
Mhm.
The Lilo and Stitch TV show is great because it's the same writers and the same team that wrote Lilo and Stitch worked on the TV show.
Also,
Same cast.
the sandwich
same crew.
stacking flash game.
Oh, 625
Dude.
Sandwich Stacker
Dude.
is the best game on Disney.
that was amazing.
Just the best.
Me and my sister played that for like hours at a time.
I was addicted to
in the
That
computer
shit was
room, which
so
used to
good.
be a thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
remember
room
the
with the
computer
one
room?
computer
Yeah.
that we all had to share.
Man,
Is this game still available?
maybe can you go on like
Zoomers. I'm sorry, Zoomers are never going to know how hard it was to jack off in the in the computer room. You'd have to be like, oh yeah, I'm playing 625.
Yeah, I'm on
Everyone's on-
addicting game.
Everyone's
were
gone. Let me
paying
get on.
$6.25.
Let me get on Google Video.
.biz.
Look up like boobs.
Okay, so it looks like somebody.
boobs hot.
Yeah. Jessica Simpson boobs.
Jessica Alba.
Great time for
Screenshot.
Jessica.
I'm just like looking at like just shots from Dukes of Hazzard, the
Yeah.
Yes.
2006 Dukes of Hazzard
Megan
movie.
Fox. Transformers.
Yeah, Megan Fox car hot.
Yeah. Well, it looks like somebody did immortalize this game. And I am hoping I don't get a virus on my computer.
No,
I can
keep the
hear.
volume up. You're just playing. That's the game, man.
Yeah, somebody just immortalized
Hell
it.
Oh, that's.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like you could
Easily.
probably just find the code from that. And
that
just
was
rip
easily
that
the
shit.
best game on the Disney Games website. The second best to me, there was a Sweet Life game. I think it was sort of a platformer, and it was really great.
I do remember that game. Do you guys remember the? I think it was either That's Our Even or a Cory in the House style game where you had to like run around the house. That was. A good one.
I had a That's So Raven Game Boy Advance game, and it slapped pretty hard.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
Pretty cool.
Had the music on it and everything.
Have you guys actually bringing this all the way back to Aladdin? Have you guys ever played? I think it was.
Will you get out of here?
I'm trying to stack
He's just-
sandwiches.
he's
It
just
sounds like
stacking
you're watching
sandwiches.
like a porn from 2001.
I wonder, is that the original music from the actual game?
Where would they be getting that from if not? It has no right to be that lo-fi if they like chose it.
Have you guys ever played the? I think it came out in the 64. It might have been even like the SNES, but the Aladdin game.
No.
Oh, it's like a side scroller.
Yeah,
well, it
it's
is.
not very good.
It is really
It's a bad
funny.
game.
It is really funny to look at Clemens and what's the other guy? Musker, their IMDb's, because there's so many video game attachments that they are credited for while doing zero work on. They're just
Dude, the Hercules game was dope.
bathing in money. These guys. Can you
Yeah.
imagine?
Man,
It's crazy. They got TV spinoffs. There was an Aladdin show.
Oh boy.
they made spinoffs for all of the. I never watched the Aladdin show. I watched the Hercules show, the Hercules, the animated series. I watched that one.
So I wanted to talk a little bit more about Aladdin as a character because he is a liar and a thief in
And
this movie.
You know who he's based off of? His character design and what they wanted to craft a character based off
I'm
of.
gonna guess a white character.
Oh yeah, no, for
Because
sure.
he looks like they literally just changed the color
if
of
you
a
was,
white.
who was
character
the
design.
coolest person in the world in 1992?
Like a real human? Or
Yeah.
In 1992.
This is it. And think like Aladdin.
Tom Cruise.
No.
Correct. What? It's Tom Cruise. They modeled the character itself and the character design off of Tom Cruise, off of a young Tom Cruise, just jumping around from building to building, being cool with all the ladies, so suave.
And then they
a
just
little
went to
fucking
like,
liar who's probably in a cult.
and then they just went to like the hex code chooser and just moved it down ever so slightly.
Oh man, what I would kill to see Tom
It's
do.
And
one
then
step.
that makes it kind of worse that their model for like what would be a cool Persian male
Is
Tom Cruise.
Definitely Tom Cruise.
Yikes.
So that's not great, but you know.
Tom Cruise
God.
fucking wishes he was Aladdin. Aladdin is so fucking cool.
The subplot though of him lying to Jasmine about being a prince.
I'm so glad that she figures it out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I really am, because I had I didn't remember like when she figured it out, and I had like written down at a certain point like, dude, literally just tell her you're the fucking street rat. She won't care. She loves you.
But we should say Aladdin wins the They Came Together award for recognizing her man, despite the fact that he put on a big poofy hat. He put on the big poofy hat, and she still knew it was him.
I know.
Yeah.
It's
Good job by
crazy.
her.
Well, once he takes off the hat,
No.
he has it off, and she's like, wait a minute.
My party tomatoes.
She'd never. If he had Groucho glasses on, it'd be done for her.
Yeah,
she'd never
it's so
recognize him.
that. I mean, that's another old like Shakespeare type thing,
Yeah.
when they couldn't really afford to do much more with disguises other than just like a hat for a guy.
They're like, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, it's
now.
like- it's like
I
an old-
can't-
it's an old
you
theater
definitely
thing.
look familiar, but who's
Yeah.
to say?
And then he's like, "Can you trust me?" And that's when she realizes.
Yeah.
And that, but then like after they're riding after a whole new world, she's like, "So listen, I know you're the fucking scum guy. I know you're that piece of shit."
He's like, yeah, I just like dress up. Like I pretend
know.
to be like a fucking street rat.
that
She does kind of buy into that.
That's true. He does continue it with another lie. I guess it makes sense because there is this law that like she has to marry a prince. I'm really glad that her dad at the end is like, "Oh yeah, wait a minute.
Yeah, I can
the
judge,
the
jury, and
Sultan."
I can just like fucking kill somebody if I want. I am judge, jury, and executioner.
Jasmine's dad, really bad parent.
Yeah, I wanted to talk
bad
about
leader.
this. Yeah.
Dude,
Bad leader,
he's
bad parent.
awful.
Basically,
The Sultan
he's
is bad.
George W. Bush and Jafar is Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Hey, and that tracks.
That tracks, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about this because like he is just like so easily duped. Like he just gets mystified immediately.
I know. If you see a guy that pointy, you have to know he sucks.
Also, he's got like a snake staff. Like, come on.
And his voice is the
Here's
most
the
evil
thing.
British voice you've ever heard.
Here's the thing: is that originally when Jafar first proposes, like, "Hey, what if I just married Aladdin?" He is not hypnotized at that moment. The moment that this man suggests, like, "Hey, I could just marry your daughter," you fire him or you report him to the
Yeah.
authorities because there's
no,
something
this man is
wrong
like,
with
no, that
man."
is a great idea, Jafar.
Just like, well, it's a good idea, but you are old.
Yeah. Also, you dress like an evil villain. You look like a cartoon
Why
villain.
is everyone
'cause you
here
are.
is wearing white in this castle except for you? You are in all black
Yeah.
and red. What's up with that? And you have a snake staff.
And you have like a bird.
that can talk?
Doesn't make me trust anyone more when they have
Well,
a bird.
nobody knows that Iago can like have full
Oh, okay.
functioning
Yeah, because he
sentences.
says
He's
like, what the hell?
yeah,
That totally works on everyone in that room.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, that's a bird.
they're like
Just a bird there.
just definitely a bird.
Oh my god. Shall we get into the categories, or is there any other like bits that you guys wanted to shout out?
Let's see.
We mentioned that ending. Just the whole third act is great.
It looks beautiful.
Another scene from my childhood that scared the shit out of me is whenever Jafar kidnaps Aladdin and throws him into the water, and he with the little cannonball attached to him, and you think he's gonna drown. That was like so scary to me as a kid because I had like a fear of drowning anyways, and so just being thrown into the water, and he's like trying to like nuzzle his little way up to the fucking lamp to rub it up against it, and we do get to see Genie as a submarine then, which is fun.
Yes.
What's your favorite Genie?
Well, that leads into the categories.
Is that a cage? A new?
Well,
A new
'Cause
category.
Favorite physical form.
the first category is best Robinism, and I think that you could literally just pick any of the genie forms for best Robinism, right?
Yeah, the best Robinism is the genie.
I love the Jack Nicholson impression.
I was gonna say
That's
like
so
that
good.
one always gets
that
me.
sticks out the most because there's no other person who could play the genie
Yeah.
where they would
What about-
actually like animate a Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because this actor is like, yeah, I can do a good Jack.
What do you guys think about? There's a French genie.
I
where
like him when he's a little bumblebee.
he has a little baguette
I do
in
love
that
it.
one.
My favorite
Um,
to look at is
this
when he's
is-
a little bee.
I don't know what the context is of this one. He has like a pink tux on in this one. I'm looking at like
well,
Aladdin
you're just
toys.
looking up merch.
Are you on like DeviantArt right now?
No, these are
He has
like
a big bulge.
Are
in
these
that one.
these are
canon?
created. No, yeah, these are Aladdin toys that were made in 1992, like merch toys. Because I was trying to see like what all do we have like.
Yeah.
Him wearing like a Steve Harvey suit.
And meanwhile, Robin only got paid like $75,000.
How much
He never
exactly
recovered.
did he get
Yeah.
paid? Because it's not a lot. He did not get. He didn't get like any kind of merchandising revenue or anything.
Well,
like that for
according-
this. He basically signed over all of the rights to that.
Yeah.
Bad job by him.
According to
You know,
the
Big L for our
Wikipedia,
guy.
the Wikipedia for this movie is amazing. Like, listeners, just take a night, just read through this because there's a lot of like good bits in here that we don't have the time to get to. But there is a section that says Robin Williams conflicts with the studio. And it starts saying, in gratitude for his success with Touchstone's Pictures, Good Morning Vietnam, Robin Williams voiced the genie for a SAG scale pay of $75,000 instead of his asking fee of $8 million on condition that his name or image, which is what you were saying, not be used for marketing and his supporting character not make up more than 25% of space on advertising artwork.
Yeah, that was the thing. 25% on the artwork, and he like imported.
Since his film Toys was scheduled for release only 1 month after Aladdin.
Toys, huh?
Yeah, which is the next movie we'll cover.
Not like Toys Story.
No,
No.
it's just Toys.
Yikes.
bad beat.
Yeah. I mean,
Fantasy comedy film by Barry Levinson.
yeah, we'll
Yeah.
talk about that
Yeah,
next,
Toys is
next
coming up.
episode.
Are we doing Toys?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Toys is a big one. I'm sorry. I'm just like getting lost looking at all of these genie toys. There's one with him as a waiter, which is like I actually
Yo.
remember whenever he becomes a little waiter at one point. This is like Disney printed money with all of his transformations. in
I know.
this
Yeah,
movie.
this is like a money printer
Like,
movie.
My God, this is just fucking genius.
So they
So good.
kept him out of all of that back end revenue.
And-
like all the, because nowadays, like if you sign on to a franchise, you sign on for all of the,
Yeah,
you get
Chris
a cut.
Evans is getting a cut of every fucking Captain America doll
Yeah.
that's being sold.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's it like obviously it sucks for him, but it's so insane, like the relative scale of the amount of money that because like if someone were to ask you, hey, do you want to be in a booth for 3 weeks and record lines and
Right.
make $75,000? I'd be like, oh my God.
And like half the lines,
$75,000.
are just like, you're just riffing.
Yeah.
You're just doing
You don't have
your-
to really
your
memorize
bits.
anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're just fucking around.
Great.
Like, that sounds awesome.
Great deal relatively. But also there's no one else on earth who this could be.
Yeah.
Right.
So like he does deserve a lot more.
I think that he kind of gets overpaid for King of Thieves for returning for that
As
one.
like a makeup thing.
Yeah, because
That makes sense.
it's a whole movie. Like he gets paid more than he should as almost like a a makeup kind of a thing. Like, oh well,
Yeah.
here's something.
Yeah, let's look it up. Let's see if the Wikipedia has his salary on here.
This is direct to video, was it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
both the sequels were direct to video.
I guess
this is in this time at Disney, like you
$1
did not make
million.
sequels that would-
The way
Is
that
what he
the
made.
way that
That's
everyone
still not
looks.
great.
I mean, but $1 million
And an
to do-
apology
to do a
for
direct to video is a
and an
lot.
apology.
Oh, he got an apology.
yes.
Oh well, that's good. At least they can apologize.
the way that
Hey,
every
Robin, how about you
single
lawyer up
character-
next time, buddy? How about you have a lawyer read through
Wait.
that contract before you sign it, buddy?
They had hired somebody else first before they knew that Robin was coming back. Oh, it's the same guy. that you mentioned earlier.
Dan Castellaneta. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
so he had recorded all the lines for King of Thieves
then,
just in case.
And then poor Dan just got the rug pulled out from under him. Wait, real quick. The rug. We even talk about magic rug, guys.
I like
Carpet.
Magic carpet. I said rug. Magic carpet. I was thinking carpet pulled out from under him, which is an expression.
Yeah, we love it. It looks great. It's
rug pulled out. Yeah, like we're Disney really pushed all this cultural stuff under the carpet.
Yeah. It's an expression that we all use.
Yeah, every day I say this. It's a really great character. Again, just an entirely animation based character.
Is this like the best early like toys movie for Disney? I guess Little Mermaid had some of that, but like I don't know.
Outside
Outside
of dolls.
Yeah, outside of like doll,
Well,
like it's just like, oh, there's like a car. Like you can just do so many things where it's like, here's Aladdin in the Agrabah set.
Yeah.
Here's Aladdin with the magic carpet.
Also,
here's Genie, and he's these 3 different forms.
The thing is, also in addition to all that, and like having tons of appeal for boys, there's still a really good princess in this that you can sell dolls of.
A princess with 2 different characters or 2 different outfits.
Who's, by the way, fine as fuck.
You
gotta admit.
No,
so
she
is
could get
Aladdin. They're both just
2
like
hot.
They're
people.
both hotties.
a whole new world,
cartoon
baby.
characters.
A whole new world. Yeah, the thing about the Disney Renaissance is they figured out how to milk that cash cow like so much. They made so much money off of all of these fucking movies.
Like
that's part of the Renaissance.
We're living in the aftermath.
Yeah, and
Our
then the
city
Orlando
is the aftermath.
exactly.
We would never have moved here if it wasn't for Musgrave Clemens.
Oh man, I would have actually accepted that offer to Harvard.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
but you were
I
like,
would have
no.
taken that gig out in LA to work for Mr.
Kevin Feige.
Weinstein?
Jesus Christ.
You were gonna be his like after hours meeting coordinator. Or
Yeah,
something?
I was gonna help set up the
Yeah, you're running his
His-
like side IG account.
his young talent finder.
Jesus fuck.
You're gonna be his
did
Giselle
you-
Maxwell.
Why were you even considering
Let's
that?
get to the categories.
Are there any toys for Atlantis: The Lost Empire? Are there any?
I will say I actually had a Treasure Planet little set
Dude,
whenever I was a
Treasure
kid.
Planet rocks. That movie's good.
I
It's
had
so
a
sad
treasure.
it
I had
failed.
like a little boat, like a little plastic boat. It was like from.
We've
Treasure
discussed
Planet.
this, but my family was way too thrifty for me to have any like movie toys. I literally we played like Tinker toys when I was a kid.
Did you know
Pick
that
up sticks.
the guy from
You're acting like you like grew up in like you were in like
No,
Days of Heaven,
that's
and
the
you're just
thing.
like
No.
it's just me, and we just played needle in the haystack all day and just hope for winter.
Well, that's literally
to
what I'm
end
saying
soon.
is like I grew up like middle class, and yet I didn't have any like my friends didn't like coming over. Like I always was going to my friends because we didn't have toys.
you guys played like Trivial Pursuit.
Everything changed when I got my PS2 though.
Oh yeah,
That-
and then
that-
Xbox.
Absolutely, brother.
So, okay. So categories. That's Robinism.
Yeah, I think it's everything. It's all of the forms.
Okay.
Well, what are the other nominees? What would that be? Like of the Robinism?
It's
Is
too,
it the
it's
lines?
too dense.
Because the
man.
thing is, it's
every time he
either, like,
talks, there are like 20 Robinisms.
it's either the riffing or it's the forms that he
but I'm
takes
asking.
on. But those are
do
like
you
the
have like
two
a
things.
specific one?
I think the Jack thing is just such a specific Robin thing, even though like everyone does it Jack. I guess because if Jim Carrey had done this role, for example, who's probably the best person aside from Robin,
Yeah.
That's
he could do a Jack too. But still, like doing a Jack is just like the animators would not put up with that for many
Right.
people, man. You know,
And he sneaks a couple other things in here. I think he does like a Bob Hope at one point. There's other little things in there that he sneaks in. That's the thing about this movie is like every time I watch it, I catch another detail that Robin Williams is doing that goes by for like
it's
half a
so
second.
dense.
Yeah.
Like the speed at which he speaks is unbelievable.
What's the best moment in the whole movie?
For Robin or
Just in the movie.
in the movie? I think
Your
I
favorite
genuinely
part
think
of
the
the
climax
movie.
of him tricking Jafar into becoming a genie just because it took me by surprise and I'm 26.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, very smart. Good job.
Yeah, that whole
It
climax
felt
sequence
like
is really
that
well
felt
done.
like that level of character cleverness is like that would be the ending of like an adult movie, like an Mission Impossible type movie. You know,
I mean, this is the perfect blending of adult and kids because a lot like what Genie's doing is like 70% for kids, but like 30% just for adults. Like a lot of the things I didn't get as a kid. Like it was funny because Genie was doing it, but like I didn't know he was doing a Jack Nicholson thing as a kid.
Right, of course
It's just
not,
like, yeah. But yeah, I think you're right. I think my favorite moment, it's weird because it's not my favorite song, but I think it might be Prince Ali. It's whenever he like first shows up, like into the castle and everything.
Yeah, and he's got
it's
the
just
whole
like,
squad.
yeah, like
that the Genie
everything is
created.
coming in just because it's like the continuation of Never Had a Friend Like Me. That like there's that like quick little interlude of like I need to become a prince.
Yeah,
and then we
he's like,
have
oh, you can have
here's
this. You
everything.
can have a camel. No, that's not enough. And then he creates an army.
Yeah.
Which leads you to think like, man,
There's
Aladdin could have used that genie better.
There's a good little
well,
detail.
you want to talk about using it. Jafar, bad job at wishing. Bad job by Jafar.
Well, you know,
really.
he's stupid.
He burns through those wishes in like, I don't know, like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like it just burns through them. They're all just like, make me Sultan. Now make me Grand Wizard.
He wasn't
Now-
raised by the streets like Aladdin. That's why Aladdin's smart.
Yeah.
This is a very
Scrappy.
class conscious movie. Cast conscious movie.
Well, on that
cast
on that
system.
note, I think a good nominee for best moment in the movie is like right when you're first introduced to Aladdin. Like it's a perfect character introduction.
Yeah, it's also a great meet cute.
Yeah.
You know,
the
like,
way that it ends, where we also because we see him, he's like thrifty, he's charming and everything else, but then like he goes through, he does this whole
all this
song
for a
number
loaf of bread.
for a loaf of bread, and then he sees some kids who don't have the same skills at stealing shit.
yeah, and he saves the cat.
Or singing or dancing skills.
Yeah. You want to talk about gross character design? Who's like the leader of the like royal guard who's after Aladdin?
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like, little street rat, get back
Well,
here.
Well, one of the things I wanted to mention that's in the Wikipedia is it talks about like one of the best parts about this movie is that every character has a distinct shape. Like now in the era of like Despicable Me Minions bullshit, every animated character looks exactly the same.
Every minion.
Hey, don't you dare talk shit about the most anticipated film of the year, Rise of Gru.
Shut the fuck up.
We're gonna do a whole series about Bob versus Kevin.
In this movie, every character has a distinct shape. And
Yeah.
you're just immediately the silhouette of them. You know exactly what character that is. You could draw an outline of Jafar and you know that's him.
You know, it's
Genie and Aladdin. And
It's
everybody.
funny that you said that because I had Disney seen it as a kid. Do you guys remember seeing
Yeah,
it?
of course.
Yeah. And like one of the things on Seen It was it would like show like the silhouette of a character, and you had to be like the first to like buzz in and be like, oh, that's Jasmine, or like that's Pooh Bear, or like whatever. And this, you are dead right that like this you could just see outline of anybody and you're like, oh yeah, that's
Yeah. And that's a
Abu.
testament to great animation character design, which is not that much of a thing anymore because I don't know who's the big culprit. Like, I don't think it's Pixar. I don't think it's DreamWorks. I don't think you can really point the finger. It's just like this broad 3D animation thing that all the studios are doing where they're just over reliant on like templates essentially.
Well, you know who really carried the torch for a while is Phineas and Ferb.
yeah, Phineas and Ferb. You know who that
They
you know
are
who that is.
they are geometric
yeah,
guys.
triangle and rectangle. That's all you
I've
need.
been watching a lot of home movies, and home movies is really holding down the fort with like the most crude animation style that you've ever seen in your life.
Absolutely.
Oof. Okay, the next category is a new category. What would you do?
Yes.
WYD.
Fellas,
What's she
WYD.
doing? Okay.
So who's the most interesting character? I guess the most likable and like relatable character is supposed to be Aladdin. in
Right.
this,
So what would
obviously.
you do?
If you're Aladdin,
And you get 3 wishes.
okay, you get
Well,
three
first of all, before the wishes, you get stuck in a cave because a creepy old man like
Yeah.
wanted you to get a lamp.
Yeah, well,
Here's
let's-
the thing.
let's-
Here's the thing. I would What I really, if I'm in that position, I never go in the cave in the first place because I do what people try and talk to me. Whenever people try and talk to me on the streets, I pretend like I don't hear them and I look down and I keep walking.
That's the
Okay.
thing.
So that's what I'm doing as Aladdin is I
Yeah.
never actually get in that situation.
if
I just live my life as
if
a
we're
street
moving
rat.
backwards, I would blow it with Jasmine. Like
Right.
Immediately, I would be like,
You'd like spill a beer on
yeah,
her.
nice,
and
nice,
just-
good to meet you. It would be awful. She would get her hand cut off.
I would nail the whole introductory number.
Yeah.
yeah.
I would go.
You're the most coordinated out of all of
Yeah.
us by far.
One step.
Okay, no, but we should fast forward for difficulty's sake to the 3 wishes. Like we've
Okay.
gotten that far. We have 3 wishes with this very animated genie, and we are really horny for a princess.
Here's the thing.
What do we do?
First things first, I'm definitely blowing a wish to get out of there. I'm not that cunning to actually get Genie to just give me a free
Yeah.
wish.
I
I'm
would
definitely not
say.
smart
I
enough
would
for
say
that.
like teleport me to just a beautiful beach stocked with shade and drinks and food. Just fully stocked, like beautiful beach and
okay.
chill time.
Here-
Teleport immediately.
So the wish thing is so vague and like loose in this. Like you can really wish for a lot of stuff in this. I would do the infinite wishes thing because
No.
I
Genie says.
oh he says he can't.
No,
you're right. He gives him
great,
ground
Part of the
great
rules.
thing. They says none of that wishing for
Damn
more
it.
wishes.
I would I
Which is
would
smart.
try if he didn't say
Yeah.
that.
but you can wish for money. You could wish for like $1 billion.
I would no. My first wish would be I wish that wasn't a rule, and then my second wish would be I wish for infinity wishes, and I think he would do it.
I think he'd be like, God
He
damn.
lets Aladdin get away with a lot. You know,
Yeah.
like
I
that
mean,
might work.
he almost lets Jafar like destroy the world.
I mean, it really depends on what kind of a genie you are, on like your leniency and how much you like the guy who specifically rubs the lamp. Because, for example, like for
Puppy.
Aladdin just says, "I wish I was a prince." So a different genie could just be like have some kind of a horrible accident befall somebody and be like, "Congratulations, in writing, you are now a prince. You have none of the like actual wealth that comes with being a prince." Do something like that. But if you look at a movie like Return of Jafar, because Jafar is now Genie, and Jafar has to then grant the wishes of whoever like rubs the lamp and everything else like that. And the guy's just like, our guy Jason Alexander, who discovers
Oh.
Jafar, bad luck for Jason Alexander. He like rubs the lamp. He's just like, "I wish for the lost treasure of this pirates." And so then Jafar teleports him down to like the bottom of the ocean where the treasure is, and it's just like,
Whoops.
and they has to burn a second wish to get out of there. So it kind of depends on how
Yeah,
lenient of a genie you get.
That's the thing is like
Do you get the literal wish, or
Well-
do you get the everything else that
but
goes
you
along
always
with the
you
wish?
need to think a step ahead each time. Like with me, if I wish to teleport me to a beautiful beach with drinks and food and nice chill time with shade and everything, what's next? Like I can't burn all my wishes and then be stranded on an island.
The thing-
I need an out.
So,
You need to
okay,
think about that.
The crux of a lot of this is Jafar, and you can't kill him. That's one of the other rules.
Yeah.
But I would just wish that Jafar was like a chill guy. Right?
Dude, what if me and Jafar were like in Ultimate Frisbee League?
It's just
together?
like everything.
Just like,
everything is so much
fucking
easier if
chilled.
Jafar's not in the fucking way here.
Right.
Like it would still be an uphill battle, but you have 2 more wishes left to figure out like the the law and the prince shit. You're like, that's what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta give it up to Aladdin because like the momentum that he builds by getting that free wish to get out of the cave, that sets him on a path where it's like already you've got the genie on your side to help you out.
true.
He's gonna be your wingman already. So not only is he gonna make you prince, he's gonna do a big ass fucking parade for you too, just because he likes you. So it's you kind of have to. What Aladdin is doing here is like masterclass level wishing.
Yeah,
because
it's-
he is like
he
not-
read
he is
how to make friends and influence people before he.
he's not manipulating the genie, but he's just like charming him. He's just like being like a charmable guy.
That's literally what like pickup artists say that
Yeah.
they're doing. They're like, no, I'm not
He's a
manipulating
big Dale
her.
Carnegie guy,
I charmed
and
her into blowing me.
well, so do we think because like technically Aladdin doesn't actually make his second wish. He's just drowning, and the genie's like, "I'm sorry, bro. I already gave you one. I can't give you a second one." Do you think that he only actually does that because he's like, well, your first wish, I kind of went above and beyond. Okay, like I kind of did a fucking lot. That was kind of worth like 2 wishes. Right there.
I did a whole parade.
Like I
technically,
I did not need to do that
Yeah.
for you. All these other princes that were coming into Agrabah, they were doing like a quarter of the shit that I
Right.
was just doing.
It's also probably just like I can't know that you're tricking me. If you can get one over on me, go for it. But like this one, like I know that I'm doing it for you. I'm
Yeah.
saving you, so it will count, bitch.
Right.
Sorry.
See, I know that I would be bad with wishes because one of my wishes is like, I just want everyone to like me.
That would make everything easy. If Jafar liked Aladdin, there'd be no problem.
Why stop
here.
at Jafar? Just be like, like this guy's like really
Yeah.
mean. This like head of security.
know,
like,
man.
can he just like me?
I wish I
I've
had
watched
good
a lot.
vibes.
I've watched a lot of Twilight
I
Zone.
wasn't getting a vibe check.
I know that, like,
Yeah, you have to word it right because
Yeah.
monkey paws.
right.
over
If
here.
you wish, if you say, "I wish everybody liked me," that could backfire so easily. That is that seems like a
you so much.
that seems like a nightmare scenario very easily.
Well, it becomes like how really old like wizened stand-up comedians like Seinfeld, they can't do clubs anymore because everyone just laughs at everything they say
Right.
because he's Seinfeld. It would be like that. Where like
Exactly.
everyone loves all your shit, so you're like, this doesn't even count. Like,
Well,
you become numb to it.
you know what I just thought about though? Genie says that he wants to be freed, and Aladdin says, "My third wish will be to free you." So, couldn't going back to your point about like figuring out a way to wish for more wishes? Couldn't that just be like a way to get more wishes? It's like, I'll free you if you grant me like plus 100 wishes.
But
or
they aren't
whatever.
like contractually bound anymore. So there's nothing like really holding Genie accountable at that point. Once he's freed, he could just be
yeah.
like, peace, and then
Yeah.
just like evaporate out of there.
right.
He
right.
goes to Disney immediately upon like being freed.
Yeah.
He's
So
wearing like,
then-
a goofy hat.
So then what do you do once you get Jasmine? Do you stay Sultan, Prince?
Yeah, I
You run
let
away.
the power get to my head immediately.
Yeah.
100%. I'm like, actually, Jasmine, like,
No,
I'm kind of done with you.
no, that would be such a stressful job. I would genuinely convince Jasmine to like fuck off with me. I'd be like, let's
Yeah.
go
Let's
to
get the fuck out of here.
let's go to like Ibiza.
Yeah. Ibiza.
Do they have Molly yet?
Is this good Robin or bad Robin?
This is
This
the
is
best
the,
that you could
might
get.
be the best.
It's going to be real tough to beat this one.
Yeah,
I think this is as
the
good
gold
as you
standard.
can.
I wanted to compare
Yeah.
it to Good Morning Vietnam because it had been so long since I saw this. This is better than that even.
Yeah. I don't think we'll see better than
Yeah.
this. This is
Just
just a complete
Better use of him because
Yeah,
Robin, he
crystallization
has
of
like
him.
better dramatic roles coming. Like he has some incredible performances ahead of him here. But this is like, it's hard to find
Yeah.
anyone better to play this role.
and it's just it's a encapsulation of all his talents into a single movie. It's perfect. Robin's out of 10. I mean 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of intensity and quality.
Yeah. It's 10.
Well, I would say 10 in intensity, but I do hesitate a little bit because I think that he reaches 10 in like King of Thieves and it's too much.
Interesting.
Because it's too intense. But that's not Robin's fault. That's the writing.
I'm also-
'Cause the
I'm
writing is
giving
just like the writing's like, hey, guess what? We have no plot for you anymore. Now it's just riffing.
But it's also the quantity. It's like the frequency, nonstop quantity of it. It's not like the level that it's hitting. It's also that it's just like it's in so much of the movie.
It's just
Yeah.
too much of the movie, but the intensity
Yeah.
is like still.
Yeah.
You know.
no,
So-
this is
so
it's a 10. It's a 10.
All right. Recaging Couch. Where is Nicolas Cage in this movie? Where do you put
He
him?
I want
is-
him to be the chief of the royal chief of police who's like after Aladdin.
Okay.
Okay, I like that.
I want him to be Iago.
But like he's live action.
That's so good.
Think about that. Iago.
That's you know what? I like that more than
It solves you and
Gilbert
Guy's
Gottfried.
No,
problem.
Yeah.
this is
I like Gilbert
Come on,
Gottfried,
guys,
to be fair.
guys.
To be fair.
Jafar.
Now, see, I don't want
Come
him to be
on.
Jafar.
The thing is,
He would be fucking awesome.
What if-
I wouldn't buy. I buy Jafar so hard in this because the most evil thing to a child is a British person.
Oh, okay.
You know, and
Right.
he wouldn't do a British accent.
Yeah.
So I can't replace this guy who did it. The Iago would be good. Abu. Him just going like,
gobble.
What if he plays the chief of police, but he's live action and the rest of the movie is animated?
yeah.
It's just
Even though he's like
live
an
action.
ancillary character.
Yeah. And you see him in like 3 scenes, and you're like, "Wait, what's up? Why? What?"
He's Aladdin.
Jonathan Freeman is the guy who plays Jafar.
Great voice.
Incredible voice.
Ends up being less culturally insensitive than some of the others because he's doing a British guy instead of like trying to do a Middle Eastern accent.
Yeah, he hasn't really
Man,
done
some
that
of
much.
I like forgot at certain points that people were trying to do a Middle Eastern accent because it's so bad.
Yikes.
It's like it really feels like they're trying to do an accent for a culture of people that does not exist in this world.
And you can't recast Robin Williams.
Like I said,
It's
the best is
impossible.
Jim Carrey for sure.
You stole that one that was what I was going to say is if we are going to try to get somebody to capture that role, it's Jim Carrey because Jim Carrey has the zaniness, he has the physicality, he has the ability to fucking riff.
He's done this role before basically in The Mask.
The Mask, but
yeah, where like his personality was animated.
Right.
Like I couldn't name hardly anyone else
No.
who even
It's
comes
singular.
close.
What other because let's think other comedians could Jerry Seinfeld have done this?
No. You have to
No.
think fast talking, crazy energy comedians. Like who you can't do like Bobcat Goldthwait or whatever because all he did was
Could Bob
scream.
Saget do this role?
Let's see.
Could John Mulaney do this role?
Dana Carvey.
He could. It would be worse, but he had the energy level. He also was,
I love Dana Carvey.
he was also a very good
role.
improviser. People underrate him now because he literally panned out so poorly. He basically ran SNL for like 4 years. Like he was just in every sketch.
Will Smith.
You know what? I'd like to see the kid give it a shot. I'd like to see him give it a go. Dude, guys, do you want to know a thing about Will Smith and Aladdin? They give Genie a romance.
I heard about this.
So
Yeah.
Genie, like, whenever Aladdin like goes undercover as the prince and everything, he's like, well, I have to blend in as like part of your posse. So he makes himself into a human, and he like falls in love with another woman.
That's tough.
It's so bad. And it's just like, man, I really hope that Genie makes it with this woman. Wait till she finds out that he's like a godlike creature.
So before we wrap up, there's a couple other things I wanted to mention. So I think I mentioned this at the top, but I think this is in the conversation for like the #1 Disney animation movie. So I was kind of curious to see if we could do like a quick top 5 power ranking off the top.
Oh God,
really
you did not let me prepare for this.
Before
at all.
we get to that, I just thought of exactly who they would cast as Genie if they had made this in like 2005. And this is not 100%. They would have cast Dane Cook to be Genie.
Oh my God,
He was the high
Kill
energy
me. He was high
pop
ener-
culture reference comedian.
dude. What
he was
if
that guy?
they see him in Waiting, and they're like, so this guy can act. Huh?
Yeah. They're like the guy from Employee of the Month.
They're like the guy who showed his balls to the rest of the cooking
Jeez.
staff in the movie Waiting.
Oh,
that guy
no.
can.
I just wanted to
Look
put
at that
that
guy
out
as
into the
Genie.
world. You guys are welcome.
That's tough.
Um,
That's
Oh
tough.
boy,
so,
the guy from Employee of the Month.
so top 5 what? Like
Disney Animation Studios.
So this is Disney Animation, not Pixar. Pixar is
Pixar.
excluded from
Right.
this.
but it can be the 3D ones that they've done.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So this is my top 5 right here. Okay. #1, The Lion King. #2, Aladdin. #3, Beauty and the Beast. #4, Lilo and Stitch. And then at #5, I think I'm gonna put a Goofy movie
dude, a Goofy movie slaps
because
Hell
that
yes.
movie is
movie's so
fucking
good.
incredible.
The movie's
It
a
holds up
masterpiece.
so well. Yeah, Mulan's also up there for sure. And then if you want to fold in the classics, I mean, of course, Alice in Wonderland, Snow White. It's
A
tough.
lot of those I don't really have the same nostalgia for, like Sleeping Beauty and Cinderella, and those
Yeah.
like don't really kind of speak. Those weren't touching points.
My-
for me. Peter Pan. We talked about that whenever we talked about Hook. none of us are Peter Pan kids.
no way.
My favorite-
the Lost Boy episode.
My favorite, like over the course of my lifetime, has probably genuinely been Emperor's New Groove.
Hell yeah.
I love that movie. I'm a Spade head. What can I say?
Yeah.
Lion King is on there. Jungle Book is probably number 2, just because when I was like a
Classic.
small child, that was the movie that like I watched every week.
Yeah.
And it rocks. My favorite Disney song of all time is "I Want to Be Like You," the Monkeys' big song. It's like not to be rude to Aladdin, but it's like a catchier version of Genie's opening song. It's like a big band song, you know. It rocks. Hercules rocks.
Like
Question.
Remember when Christopher Walken did that in the
Fuck, man.
I wanna talk like you.
That's
walk like you.
that made me
Jesus
so
fucking
mad.
Christ.
Those songs, man, that pissed me the fuck off. Moana's a great movie.
I can't do a top 5 off the dome. You had to, if you need to brief me for this, Ernest.
No,
You can't just spring this on me.
I wanted it to be off the cuff. If
I'm
you
just
could
going
pull
to.
it.
I'm not going to give a top 5. I just want to shout out some other ones that are great that we have not talked about on here. Have you guys ever seen The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad?
What in
That
the fuck?
It's from 1949. That movie is fucking incredible. It's like 2 stories. One of it is it's a story of the
I
headless
have that down
horseman.
at number 53.
Jesus Christ.
I don't see it on.
It's like from
I have,
1949.
I don't see it
It's-
on my list.
I have a letterbox list of all of them. If you just go on my letterbox.
I'm not gonna look on that.
Well, that's the definitive list.
Another couple just to shout out. We talked about the Rescuers Down Under. Just fucking
I love those
bangers.
movies. They're not on Walt Disney Animation Studios though. They're not.
Okay, some of these might be a little bit because if you start to go all the way back,
yeah.
the
okay.
naming might be a little bit because
whatever.
Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad is 1949.
So, like,
No, I
Then
know, but
in
they
that
have
case,
stuff from back then that is
A
like
Goofy
under this
movie.
studio.
A Goofy movie is technically made by Disney Toon Studios and not Walt Disney Animation Studios. So
doesn't count.
you're gonna have to
bitch.
kick that shit out of there.
Well,
Category fraud over here.
no,
He's right. Either that or we have to change it to like best 2D Disney movies, which I think is probably a better list to make, right? Because that includes
It's
all
a
of-
co-pro.
Yeah, and then that
not this.
still excludes things like Nightmare Before Christmas and stuff like that. Because Nightmare would
Best-
be up there, but I consider that different.
Yeah.
than all
Also,
of
Moana
these.
is just a whole different fucking thing from watching like
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
like it's just not the
Yeah.
same thing. So if we're doing 2D,
I just really 2D. It's Aladdin's up there. Hercules is really high up there. I fucking love Hercules.
those
Classic.
are both
Lion King.
those are both on mine. Lion King, and then my top 2 are still Emperor's New Groove and Jungle Book. And that's not really a reflection of quality, but more quantity.
I
of
do
times
fucking
that
love
I watched
Emperor's New Groove. Emperor's New Groove is so good. Beauty and the Beast has to be high. Bella's my favorite Disney princess. I fucking love.
That's just
I-
because you had a dog named Bella.
You connect really well
Heather.
to
My sister had a dog named Bella,
being,
but also
being trapped in a castle.
yeah, I really
against your will.
I feel no, honestly, I think that is like the best music of a lot of these Disney movies. It is just stupid animation.
Yeah.
Like it
looks incredible.
the way that the camera like it
unbelievable.
makes it look like the camera is soaring whenever they're in like the ballroom and stuff. It's stuff that
Well,
like just
also
doesn't
just
get fucking done in
the
animation.
detail of the backgrounds are
It's
like
insane.
it's jaw dropping. You can like
It's-
pause that
it's
movie
fucking
and just like
stupid.
stare at the fucking backgrounds, and it's just like the most detailed painting you've ever seen.
Are you guys big Hunchback of Notre Dame guys?
No, I don't like it. It's not funny.
I kind of want to go back and watch that
It's
movie
so
as an
sad.
adult because
it's really sad.
it's definitely like not a kids movie, like just straight up not a kids movie. What about Recess School's Out?
That if okay. If
How
we're
is
counting
that
That's
on the
that's
list?
a Walt Disney Animation movie.
the
yeah, but
fuck
it's
outta
not
here.
Disney Animation Studios. That said, if we're counting that, that's in my top 3. Like I love that fucking movie.
Lilo and Stitch, I think, was probably be mine. I can't do this fucking list off the top.
There's a Wikipedia
Wait,
list
Brother
you guys can
Bear.
go to.
Where are you guys at on Brother Bear?
Brother Bear was not great.
No,
It's not great. Shout out to
Lisa Peterson.
yeah, Lisa Peterson.
She loved Brother Bear.
Our-
she produced Brother
she
Bear.
helped
Oh, that's
work
right.
on
UCF.
the movie.
Yeah,
Brother
UCF
Bear.
That's right.
film professor. I still get emails from her.
What about Home on the Range, 2004 film?
Terrible. terrible.
Range.
That one, I remember seeing that in a theater, and I was like, "This is is a new low."
No, you know, it's like actually, it's a Disney animated movie from this time period. It was probably like one of the first times I remember seeing a movie in theaters as a kid and just being like, I hated that. Chicken Little.
Yeah.
2005.
Well, okay, so
I saw Chicken Little in theaters. I was like, this is bad. I don't like this.
I liked
Yeah.
it. When
I was like
a
10.
kid.
Chicken Little was tough. I
Tough
don't have that on my list for some reason.
You don't like Zach Braff?
The thing during that era, so Treasure Planet like crashed and burned the whole enterprise. Like it just nobody saw that movie, nobody cared about it. It was like this is over. Then they like shout out Brother Bear because they already had it in production, and it was like, okay, I guess we'll do this. And then you get Home on the Range, which is like the last 2D animated one for a little while, and that one's terrible. Then you get like Chicken Little, Meet the Robinsons, and Bolt, which is just like, this is what Disney is now.
Yeah, it's just ass.
Like
Just really
what?
bad.
And
I
that-
like Meet the Robinsons.
yeah, I guess that it's not terrible,
It-
but
I'll be
when
honest,
you're
I've never
comparing
seen
it
Meet the
to
Robinsons.
It was like
Never
definitely
saw it.
funny, but it didn't feel like as big, which
Right.
is ironic because it like conceptually it is humongous.
but then when you're comparing it to Aladdin, it's like
Yeah.
there's a definite drop. Then you get Princess and the Frog and Tangled, and then it's like, oh, okay, so they're starting to get back into like princesses. Okay, they're starting to like see that this is a new low, and they're trying to find this upswing by getting
Yeah,
back into.
and then they just start like shitting out bangers.
yeah, then you get Winnie the Pooh, which is a little bit of a step in the right
No.
direction, and then you get
Mhm.
Wreck-It Ralph, Frozen, Big Hero 6, and Zootopia, and then Moana. And it's just like
that's
boom,
crazy.
boom, boom.
Guys,
Like,
you know what's a great fucking movie is Big Hero 6. Big Hero
Yeah.
6 slaps. That movie's so good.
but now like with like Frozen 2, Raya, and Kanto, like we're now in this like new kind of era of Disney animation
Mhm.
where it's like they're kind of back. You know, I don't think it's the same. I don't think it'll ever be the same.
Well,
As the
movies
90s
don't have the
Renaissance.
same. Yeah, they
Movies
just
don't matter anymore.
exactly.
Yeah, no movie will ever matter as much as Frozen did for like the 2 years after it came out.
Well, Encanto right now is like the songs are charting.
I know the
more
Bruno
so.
song is so hot,
Yeah.
but it's not.
I still
it
have not
hasn't-
had a chance to see Encanto, but I have heard people don't talk about Bruno like 100 times.
Yeah. Wait until you find out why we don't talk about Bruno.
It's because he did 9/11.
like some sort of
Um,
racism thing.
It's generational trauma.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that
Okay.
sounds about right.
Before we wrap up, though, I did just want to share some thoughts on King of Thieves because I did see that movie and I remember loving it when I was a kid, and I was pleasantly surprised that it held
Really
up.
great opening number.
Yeah.
There's a party here in Niagara.
And Aladdin's dad is a hot hunk that is just like completely ripped off of Sean
Modeled
Connery.
off of Tom Cruise's dad.
It's modeled off of Sean Connery in The Last Crusade.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
And
Are they just literally doing The Last Crusade, but Aladdin?
yeah,
Why not?
It's very similar.
Just why not?
It's very similar, but no, it's you get a lot of like he's the king of thieves, so he has like a band of thieves, right? So there's like this whole crew, and like one of them turns bad, and it's like I don't know. There's just a lot of imagery from that movie that really stuck with me as a kid. They get into like the hand of Midas, the golden hand of Midas, and like all of that imagery is like stuck in my head. Then there's like this like castle that's on the back of this giant tortoise. That image is burned into my brain. So I liked revisiting it and just seeing like, okay, this movie, it holds up. It holds up pretty well. It's not as good as Aladdin, obviously, but it's like I was pleasantly surprised with like the kind of things that I had burned into my brain, kind of revisiting them and seeing like, okay, it's still pretty good. It holds up.
So
Right.
big congrats to that movie.
Glad to know that it's aged better than Return of Jafar. After watching Return of Jafar, I was like, I guess I just didn't like good things when I was a kid, and I've just given up on ever liking anything ever again.
Well, shall we wrap it up?
Please.
I think that's about it. Thank you so much for tuning in to the show. We bought a mic, Magic Carpet Ride cast. As we continue, Good Mic Hunting, Robin Williams series. Please stay tuned. And get in touch with us, email us, follow us,
Mhm.
subscribe, and like and share and donate. Thank you, you beautiful donors, for donating.
A lot of people have like a call to action at the end of their content. We have like 7.
Yeah,
We're like, please give us your money.
give us your money.
Do all those things.
Stay tuned for next week.
And after that, give us a sponsorship.
Next week we talk the Batman. The Batman comes out next week.
Shit, I forgot. Oh my god.
And we will continue our series with toys, the aforementioned toys.
I'm really
with more
excited.
Robin Todd.
Having just seen the poster for toys, I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Did you
It's just
guys
a very
know?
ugly poster.
I just found out because, as you all know, that there is a Coheed and Cambria song called "Toys," and I'm just really excited
Bye.
to find out if those two things are linked
End it.
together.
Wait, you sang it last week. You should sing it again as we close out.
I'm your favorite toy.
Oh,
Oh my god, dude, my voice is.
oh, that's just too bad.
My
We're gonna have
voice
to cut
is
it
just
here.
too shot from going to a concert and screaming at bands. On
Thanks for
Thursday.
watching.
Cut this like 30 seconds ago, Ernest. Please get this out of here.
Bye.
Bye.